This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Finding Answers. Here's my guest for this evening, Milka. And tonight's topic is the need to be approved. Milka, you found it, right? And a need to look for approval from people. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was always looking for other people to tell me that I was enough. You know, always following my friends, whether it was like being out late, you know, not going home until like 4 a.m, drinking. Like, it even got to the point where I would like drink on my own. Although it started with friends, it just got so severe that it was ended up being on my own.
Now, this is a piece of what's happened in your life, right? But there was a lot more before that.
Definitely.
You're going to find out what happened with Milka right after this. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Tonight's topic is the need to be approved. And why would someone find it the need to actually be approved? Well, in a nutshell, the answer could be because they haven't found it in the home. And when you don't find approval from your family in the home, a person tends to look for that approval elsewhere with very negative consequences. Now with me tonight, as usual, is Carlos. Good evening, Carlos.
Good evening, Michael. Good evening to all the viewers of Finding Answers.
Now, Carlos, we have had on our program many young people, and even adults as well, who they found the need to look for approval. And our guest tonight her story is no different. So we see a pattern here. But we find that when there is not approval, when things aren't going on in the home, people tend to go astray and do some crazy, wild things in order to look for approval, to be accepted.
Yes, it's amazing because everyone seems to have this desire to be accepted by someone. And of course, that's where faith, you know, has a very important role. It plays a very important role because we know that it was through the power of faith that she was able to find this approval.
Yeah, and you know, we humans, you know, we are creatures that we want to join up. No one is an island. No one wants to be on their own. Right? Whether that's you need friends or family around you, whether you're part of a group, a hobby that you do, right? Working in a team, you know, we all like to be close to people. Naturally, we're very kind of affectionate, touchy-feely, generally. And when you don't get that, when you don't feel as though you're accepted, then as we said, you feel left out, you feel on your own. And you will try to look for replacement for that rejection. And many times when people are rejected by their own family, it could be literally being thrown out of the house. It could be words from your siblings, from your parents even. That person doesn't feel part of the family. So they will tend to go outside of the home and kind of look for acceptance in another group, whether that will be school friends, and normally it's not the good type of school friends, right? Or something else, just so they fit in, and you know what, they feel as though, you know what, I've made friends. They're looking for a father figure or a mother figure, for example, an older brother, an older sister, someone who replaces their natural parent.
Yes, and because you know, Michael, because even though we all have, like I mentioned, you mentioned that we have this need for approval, you know, from different groups in society, right? For example, here, right now, we have these needs, I mean, to be approved by each other as well in the group that is here as part, the team of this program as well. but especially when it comes to the family, right? We need to be approved in our, place of worship. We need to be approved at school, uni, at work, but especially because there it's the place where you are, with those people at all times. I mean, they are the people you see in the morning, you see at night, you eat together, watch television together. I mean, it's something special.
It's a classic case of that son going to play football and he wants his dad to cheer for him.
Yeah.
And if his dad is not there cheering from him, he feels, because he sees other boys, his friends, and their fathers cheering. Or the daughter going off to ballet school, right? And the mum is not there to support them.
Mm-hmm. So when this doesn't happen, especially when it comes to the family, it doesn't happen. So they will try to find, let's say, a family somewhere else. And that's where the danger lies.
Yeah. And as Carlos said, faith can help you. In other words, yes, we're not saying that you don't need your family or friends around you, but you will not rely on that if you don't have family or friends around you. Because through faith, you'll be able to have that inner peace, that self-acceptance, right? You'll be able to forgive the ones who hurt you. That hurt that's inside of you won't drive you to look for substitute parents or a substitute family and look for those people elsewhere. And you know what, this actual subject is close to home because I went through that phase in my life, right? I was looking for a father figure because I didn't have a father figure at home. So I looked for it at school, at college, right? Looking for someone that I could always run to and ask for help, though I didn't directly say, what do you think about this, right? Because I don't have a father, so I'm adopting you as my father. It wasn't like that. But inside of me, I was looking for that father figure. And maybe this is what you're doing. You're looking for that mother or father figure. You're looking for that older brother, older sister figure. You're looking for acceptance elsewhere. And if you would like our help tonight, through faith, you can find this help. If we can say it's like this emptiness, this big hole that is not being filled, but through faith, faith in God, God will be able to give you that fulfillment, right? That peace inside of you. So you won't have to make wrong decisions. You won't have to do things that you later on regret. And how many people are making decisions that they have regretted, but they don't know how or where to turn to. So this is the topic for this evening, the need for approval. If you would like to give us a call, then you can. If you noticed that you are amongst people that you may say are your friends, but really they're not, but you still hang around with them, and you don't want that anymore. You don't want to do what they do. You know what? You want to be alone. You want to, but you don't have the answers. Well, I can tell you something. You can kickstart this change now. It starts inside of you. It's not about making new friends. It starts within you. If you'd like to give us a call, you'll be able to speak to one of our advisors. The number's on the screen now. It's 0207 686 6300. 0207 686 6300. You can send me an email, help@findinganswers.tv. If you have a question related to this subject or anything else, send us your email and we will answer you. If you want an answer, if you want us to help you in anything at all, maybe you've seen a past program and you have a question that you would like to ask us, then the email is also on your screen. You can also find past programs of Finding Answers. Many guests who have come on this program and shared their experience of how faith has helped them overcome various problems in life. And maybe you're going through one of those problems. So why don't you search for us on YouTube at Finding Answers TV. And you can also find us on our Facebook page. Just search for Finding Answers. Okay? Well, there you have it for this evening. This is our program for the next, say, 45 minutes or so. Stay with us because after the break, you will meet our guest, Milka, and she'll be sharing the rest or more, I should say, of her story. We'll see you right after this break. Welcome back to Finding Answers. If you just joined us, tonight's topic is the need to be approved. So joining us on the sofa, along with Carlos, is our guest, Milka. Now, before we hear her story, let's have a look at a real life testimony, someone who used their faith.
Growing up without a father figure was quite hard for me. I really grew up with a really negative mindset, I could say. So in school, I had a lot of friends, because I was a really, popular guy. And I will be influenced and also influence others. And most of the time it won't be good for good things. It'll be for rob from the shop or play fight or do something silly. It was always due to be something negative. I believe the worst moment I had was where I had to really see if I had true friends. And I was coming back from school. One of the area boys in that time approached me with a knife, threatening to, kill me or stab me, and asking for my stuff at that time. At the time, I found it hilarious. The reason why is because I had 5 friends and it was only one person. But within a space of time, 2-3 friends disappeared out of nowhere, said I had to go to the shop. After that, I received, a really hard hit on my face, and I was still in shock at that moment because I was thinking, I'm with my friends, why are they just standing there? And then that's when I realized I didn't have true friends. It's when I went negative and I said, I want revenge. I had hatred inside of me. I got involved with much more things, addictions, fraud, stealing, robberies. I got involved with drugs, so many things that made me even a more negative person. Like, it was just more bitter and bitter as days went past. I was getting more negative. I just didn't care. I just didn't care about life. I didn't care about, what people think about me. I didn't care about nothing. All I cared about was doing what I think I should do, what I think is right. So I became really proud. I can say. So everything changed when a friend of mine invited me to a place, and I said, look, I'm not really a social person, but I'm gonna come because if you're saying whatever, this place can help me, because I knew that person and I saw that they've changed a bit and they used to go through the same things I was going through. So I came, and that's when I started to see results from coming and seeing myself invest in my career, seeing myself invest in my health. Every single area I saw development. So today I'm no longer involved in all these negative, surroundings, environments. I'm self-employed. I run a printing company. It's really developed in the last few years, and I really see a future. I have the vision to see even greater things to come. Yeah, it's funny. I see my old friends, and they are shocked when they see me. They're like, wow, Taffy, it's been 5-6 years and you're still shining, you're still smiling. How'd you do it? Many of them actually have asked me how and where do they go, because they really see a difference inside of me.
So there you have it. Let's introduce you now to my guest, Milka Mianda. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Now, where's that name from? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Congo.
Okay.
But my first name is from the Hebrew language. My second name is Spanish. So,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Strange mix, right?
Yeah.
So today you are happy.
Yeah.
And that is all down to faith, right?
Definitely.
You're going to talk about that later on. But the topic that we're talking about tonight is the need to be approved. Mm-hmm. And you were looking for approval, weren't you?
Yeah, most definitely.
Tell us, how did everything start? Because we mentioned about the family, mm-hmm. and I'm sure that related to you growing up.
Yeah, I was always looking for approval, from my parents. And obviously, as you can see, my smile isn't straight. But it was always like this since I was younger. My mum would
If you didn't mention anything, if you didn't say anything, yeah. I wouldn't have noticed, right? But why do you think your smile wasn't straight, or there was something wrong with your smile?
Just because like other kids around me, like they were losing their teeth really like when they were like 5, 6, 7. I still had mine in. I lost mine when I was like 10. And because my smile didn't come out straight, my mum would sometimes when I was smiling, she'll say, oh, like in our language, she would say like, oh, you know, you got teeth like a spade. Like it doesn't really make sense in English, but like in our language it did. So that formed like insecurities already. And then when growing up, like watching TV, there's like girls with like slimmer noses, and you know, if you were light skinned, you were pretty. So that just formed all these things inside of me. It was like, oh, there's no way somebody's gonna like me, or I don't fit in with people. You know, I don't look like what people want me to look like. My family, obviously, like, you know, my mum, who, you know, usually your mum should be the person who's putting you up, kind of feels like she was putting me down. So it's like, I didn't feel like I was
and that's what you mentioned in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
You know, when your parents say things, in your case, she said you had a funny smile.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, you don't want to hear that from your family.
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't matter how you look. Your mum or your dad just say, you know what, it should be that. You are the most handsome, you're the most beautiful person on this planet, right?
Yeah.
That's how it should be. But, you know, I don't know if she meant what she said or jokingly, but whatever way it was, it affected you in a big way.
Yeah.
So growing up, obviously you said as well, looking at images on TV, probably magazines. You mentioned about your nose.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the colour of your skin.
Yeah.
Were you hanging around friends who didn't look like you? They looked different, and that made things worse, or what?
I mean, it was like, my secondary school was like, the majority of us were like black girls. But that didn't change the fact that the way that boys would receive us would be like, oh, like you're not like light-skinned, you know, like, and just like generally with social media and the way in the era that we were growing up, that was what was perceived as pretty. You know, even hair, like my hair was like even trying to comb my natural hair down, like it was just, yeah, it wasn't happening. Like before, you would not see me at all with my natural hair. Now I don't really mind. I change my hairstyles like to how I like prefer it to be. But before it'd be like, no, it has to be straight, it has to be relaxed, it has to look fine and nice, because, you know, that's what was being put out to me.
And this all starts off at what age?
It started like I was about like, like maybe like 6, 7, because I wasn't losing my teeth then, so like everybody else, so yeah.
So I mean, thinking about the colour of your skin, thinking about your nose, thinking about the way your smile is, it's a lot of pressure for someone at 6 years old, growing up.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't think about those things when I was growing up. I was, you know, I wanted the latest, I don't know, toys that we saw on TV, and because we didn't get them, we would get upset, right?
Yeah.
BMX bikes and, you know, all of those things. We weren't worried about our looks. But you see how, Carlos, society brings this pressure on young people today. That's why I have a lot of young people, 5, 6 years old, with mental health issues. Incredible.
Yeah, I believe that especially for girls, because girls, they care so much about their appearance. More than, I believe, much more than the male. But what really caught my attention was the fact that her own mom, her own mother, you know, was the one that was saying those negative words. Because like you said, if there is someone that you really expect, you know, to have some very nice words, encouraging words, this is from your mom, from your father, from your parents, right? So obviously that it affects a lot when, for example, young people, children, they are bullied at school, you know, because other kids are talking bad things about their appearance and so on, but so much more when it comes from the parents.
Yeah. So, Milka, how did it affect you getting older now, going to secondary school? How did your behavior change then?
I mean, like academically and like at school, I wasn't the loudest, like I wasn't the one making the most noise, but inside I had so many insecurities. Like I wanted to look like those popular girls, like, because obviously like boys weren't attracted to me, but they were attracted to them. So it was a bit like, oh, why can't I look like her? Like some of them would have like long like Brazilian weave, and it'd be like, oh, why can't my parents buy that for me so I can look like them? And it was always comparing my life to other people's lives. And like, you know, boys would go to them and they wouldn't like come my way. So it was a bit like, oh, like I wanted a guy to say, oh, you know, you're pretty, like, no, I like you. So then when that finally like did happen, it's just like throwing myself at a guy. And then if like once they would say like, oh, I don't want to like be with you anymore, then it's like the end of the world. Then it was like, oh, what's wrong with me? Like, what do I need to change? At some points in my life, like I did want to have, like I was like looking at like pop stars and stuff, people like Nicki Minaj, and I just saw that she enhanced herself surgically. So I wanted to do that as well when I was older.
Really?
Yeah.
You were thinking of having plastic surgery?
Yeah. I wanted to like get implants and stuff because it was just like, oh, look at her, and like she's so put. And like after she got surgery, everyone was like, whoa, like she's beautiful now. So I was like, yeah, like if I look like that, I'm pretty sure that, you know.
Wow. Okay. The definition of beauty has changed now, right? We've got to redefine beauty with a picture of Nicki Minaj in the dictionary. Anyway, let's not go there. Going on, moving on. How else did it affect you?
In relationships, in friendships, like even the type of friends like that I had, they weren't the worst, but they also weren't the best. Like if they were wanted to go out to a club or something, I was gonna go along. When I started working, like if they were like, oh, stay late, I couldn't be myself. I couldn't say, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble if I get home. I was be like, oh, I'll just stay, and then like I won't answer the phone.
But did you really want to be there?
No, because I knew I was gonna get into trouble. I knew that like. And I didn't like I don't really think anybody actually likes the taste of alcohol. Like, it doesn't like taste nice, especially a young person. Like, if somebody tells me they do, I'm like, okay, fair enough. But it, like, why would you mix it with juice? Because it just doesn't taste nice. But it'd be like, okay, yeah, give me another drink. Like,
so you would drink and get drunk and...
Yeah, like, but a hangover for me would be like, I would just like lie on the couch, and if my mom asked like, what's wrong? I'd just be like, I'm not feeling well. But like, yeah.
So you would go out to parties,
nightclubs.
And what were you looking for there, even though you didn't want to be there? Were you secretly kind of thinking, okay, maybe I'll meet a guy here? What was it you were looking for?
It was just like a mixture of things. At first I thought, okay, I'm gonna find the happiness that was missing, because when I was younger, like my mum wouldn't let me go out to parties with my friends. So people go birthday parties, they go out for dinner, and I wasn't allowed to go. So I always had this image in my head, okay, if I go out partying, if, you know, like people like, you know, put on their Snapchat, on their Instagrams, that they, you know, they're having such a good time, maybe I'll go and I'll have as much as a good time that they're having, and I'll be happier, because I was really empty. But I didn't find anything there. But I was, sometimes I was looking for a guy. Sometimes just during the night, there'd be a guy there, kiss him, like, you know, like just do stupid stuff. And then, but I'd go home and I just feel worse than I did going out. So, yeah.
I normally ask this to our guests, what was it like at home alone? And you just mentioned you felt really low, right? Really bad.
Very, very low.
Did you have any suicidal thoughts at all?
Yeah, a lot of the time. Like, going out is like really fun, like you get dressed up, but then when you come home, like, and there's the silence, there's like nobody there anymore. It's like, it's frightening, the thoughts that come into your mind. Like, it's just telling you to, like,
Can you tell us, can you remember some of those thoughts that entered your head?
Yeah, like, why am I alive? Why do I deserve to live? Like, you know, there's just this bitter emptiness inside of you, just literally screaming, why don't you just end it? What is the point anymore? Like, you're just thinking, like, what's the point? Like, nobody's gonna miss you anyways. Like, you're irrelevant, so why do you continue breathing?
I take it was like hard work to keep up this appearance. Mm-hmm. Because no one was accepting you, no matter how hard you tried, right? Mm-hmm. No one liked you, no one accepted you. And did you try with different friends, groups? I don't know. An example, I tried going to a karate class. I wasn't accepted there. Let me try knitting. Let me try this place. And no matter where I went, I didn't feel accepted. Was it like that? Yeah,
definitely, especially when I went to university. So I thought like going to a university would be like a new start for me. And I was still at home. It's not like one of those ones where I went like, because I'm from London, so I stayed in London. Right. But I'd met like a different group of people. Now these were people who'd gone to like prep schools, private schools beforehand. These were kids that I was like, whoa, okay, like I can start like a fresh start, like I can be myself. But then I found myself falling in that same trap because they were rich. They went to different sorts of places. They hang out with different sorts of people. They were living a lifestyle that I can't afford.
But did you go there seeing what you saw and thought there's no way they'll accept me, or did you try to fit in?
I definitely tried, like,
Really?
you know, because, you know, you get student finance, I was working, so I was just like, you know, although I can't even afford to live the lifestyle I live in, let me just do it. Let me act like I'm part of their group. But I come from, like, North London. Like, I live in, like, a block of flats. They come from, like, you know, like, Chelsea. Some of them lived in Chelsea, some of them, you know. So it was a bit like we came from two different worlds, but I was trying so hard to fit in there. But push comes to shove, I just don't fit in.
Yeah. And did that make your, you know, what you were going through in your mind a lot worse?
Yeah, because it was just like another, like I thought it would make me happy, but it didn't. So it was just, it would make me feel even worse when I got back. And like, that's why sometimes I resorted to like drinking, because it made things easier to deal with.
What was the worst point in your life?
The night before my 19th birthday, I got home, I had like a really bad altercation with my sister as well. We like fought physically, and I just remember her just like not wanting to talk to me. So I went out, because I live near Alexandra Palace, so I went walking. It was really dark, and I just went walking up there. I walked back, got a bottle of like rosé, just finished it off, like polished it off. And then at that point I was just like, you know what, just end it. What's the point now? I just don't want to be alive anymore.
So did you try?
I tried like several times before.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you think there was a way out? I can find peace. I can be happy. I can be myself and be accepted. Or did you think this is how life was meant to be for you?
At that point, I said no. I'll probably just end up getting like married to somebody who has to deal with this, and like, you know, that would be impossible to find. And I thought, you know what, just get rich, just get successful, just get money, and then, you know, live an empty life, but at least you had the money to cope, I guess.
Okay. Milka, stay with us, because after the break, you're going to share with our viewers at home what happened to you, okay? How faith actually helped you, all right? And if you are going through anything that Milka mentioned, you know, you are living a life pretending to be someone that you are not. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe right now you have this rosé, you have some pills right in front of you, right? You're thinking of even ending your life tonight or doing something stupid. Then stick with us, because Milka's going to share her story of how she got help right after this break. Welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight's topic is the need to be approved. And Milka, our guest for this evening, was sharing her story of what she went through at such a young age. And though she's still young, but she's going to tell you the other side of the story now, how faith helped her. So find out now how faith helped her and how it can also help you. Milka,
Yes.
tell us then. Look at this smile. It's not crooked. Huh? There's nothing wrong with you. Tell us how faith helped you.
So it was actually quite funny, because like it was just a random day, and I was just sitting at a bus stop, and these two girls approached me, and they asked me, they just basically gave me an invite to a youth group.
Right.
So I went along, and I just...
Let me stop you there. You went along. Why? Did you think at that time, you know what, something new, maybe I'll be accepted there, a new set of friends? Why did you go along all of a sudden?
To be honest, I actually didn't want to go, but I just remember just saying, oh, that's so rude, and just go along, like just go. So yeah, just kind of like a need.
So you didn't want to ignore them?
Yeah, basically, just a need to want to please somebody. So I went along.
Really?
And
it was probably the best decision of your life, right?
Yeah, like genuinely, yeah. And so I went along. It was like really, it was different. Like I saw a bunch of young people, like some of them looked older than me, playing games and like having a genuinely good time. And I just hadn't seen that before,
right,
like in that type of environment. And a girl spoke about like the type of things that she had been through. And then when she was speaking, I was kind of shocked. I was like, how are you speaking about these things so openly and bravely? And I've gone through these things. I was like, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to speak about like what I'm going through. But funny enough.
And there are probably people at home saying, how can you come on this program and speak about what you're going through, right? But who knows? Maybe one day they could be here.
It's true. You never know. Yeah.
So you thought this about this girl.
Yeah.
But it didn't turn you away, did it? It actually gave you hope.
Yeah. So I actually ended up like coming back. I came back to a few of like the youth meetings that they were having. I spoke to youth mentors, advisors. You know, they invited me to like inspirational like meetings that they had in like their place of worship.
Okay.
And you know, I received the help that I needed. They gave me like practical advice.
Tell us some things that they actually told you there.
So, like, because I was somebody who would just like really listen to thoughts that would come to my head, they told me, you know, stand up for yourself, like reject these thoughts. Don't listen to them. You are stronger than these thoughts that are coming to you. And I didn't believe that until I had no choice but to be strong.
So you're saying, when you're saying these thoughts, these not only just negative thoughts about your looks and things like that, but these suicidal thoughts you're having. Well. Now, how do you stand up? I want you to tell people at home, how do you stand up or go against those suicidal thoughts in your head? What did you learn there?
So I learned just generally just to like reject them, just tell them I didn't want them. Like I know it sounds really, really odd, but in my head, because like when I was around people, in my head I would just say, no, I'm not weak, I'm strong, I can beat this. You know, I would keep going to these meetings. I would make sure that I invested and kept going.
Was that in the form of a prayer? Is that in the form of what you just said, like words, or both?
So it was, but obviously I had to do my side as well, because I couldn't always be in the place of worship. So when I was at home, outside, I would be rejecting the thoughts. But I would also, it was important for me to go to these meetings and to receive like prayers and help that the advisors were giving.
How important was prayer? Because people watching now, we have people who believe in God and people who don't believe in God. So how important was prayer? Were you religious before this?
Yeah, it was. But it was like, faith to me was like this thing that just existed but couldn't really do much for me. Like, it couldn't really change much. But when I came, they showed me a practical and intelligent faith. So like when I was at home and I would make my own prayers, they just said, look, just talk the way you would talk to your friend. Just speak. Like, you don't need eloquent words. You don't need this whole, you know, just talk.
Just talk to God?
Yeah, just talk. Like,
what you're feeling inside?
Yeah, just have a conversation. And generally when I would speak and let it out, afterwards I'd be like, okay, I wasn't expecting to feel lighter, but it just happened that I would just feel lighter. It's like I lifted a burden every time that I was just being myself. Right.
Just by saying, having a conversation with God.
Yeah, basically.
And it was just opening up and crazy, but it's like you're speaking to someone that you can't see.
Yeah, literally.
But if it means feeling lighter and better, why not?
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
It's so true. And it was finally like an opportunity for me to just be myself. There wasn't like any there wasn't really any like mirror or like any like kind of illusion. I was just like, look, this is who I am. I hate the way I look. I need people to like me. I wish I didn't, but I do. And it just so happened being that honest actually helped me.
Yeah. But Carlos, we see here the importance of being a prayer, being something that's sincere. And that's what God wants. He doesn't want, as you mentioned, eloquent, beautiful words, right? Or prayer written down that you read. She felt what she felt and she expressed herself.
And I believe that's when she began to feel accepted. Which means, this acceptance that she was not getting from, external resources, from people, from friends and people around her. So definitely she started feeling accepted from the Creator, which is the most important thing, right? Because, and then, like she mentioned, she started feeling important just the way that she was, right? In spite of her looks, appearance, doesn't matter what people said, because as the Word of God says, Michael, that, He accepts the way that we are.
I think, and adding on to what you're saying, the Creator always accepts us. Yes. I think she had to accept herself.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if your nose is this wide or this long, right? Your smile is crooked or not. But once she started to accept herself, this is who I am, and there's no way it's going to change, right? I'm not going to have an operation or surgery to look like someone else. This is who I am. Then she started to feel this way, right, Milka?
Yeah.
So when you started praying and saying these things, am I right in saying that you started to accept who you are? It started from within.
Yeah, it really did, because then it was like I could, like, even with fashion, I could just wear what I wanted to. It didn't matter if my trainers like weren't liked, like, oh, they went out of fashion. I still have a pair of trainers that I really love, and I kept them.
And they're old, right?
Yeah, they're old. Like, apparently nobody likes them, but I was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna wear them.
Yeah.
Like, and like things like sometimes before I would need to go out, there was a need to constantly look at the mirror or ask my sister, okay, how's my outfit? Does this look okay? Are these colors okay? Are you sure? Like, and from time to time, of course, I'm gonna ask. Like, I need to know if my outfit, like, actually genuinely looks okay, or if it, like, if something looks wrong. But then there wasn't this like incessant need to genuinely go, okay, you need to tell me that I look good. Otherwise, I'm not gonna believe that I look good. When I step out, everyone's gonna stare. That left. Like, I didn't need that. I could just say to myself, look fine. And it doesn't matter if the person next to you doesn't like your outfit. It doesn't matter if the person next to you doesn't like my smile. I like it. Because it's me.
And tell me some of the things you had to practically do. You know, you learned what you learned, right, in that place of worship with the youth group. But what did you do outside? What did you do with family when you were in the home? Tell us some practical things as well.
So I had to definitely change my attitude. That had to change because I was always challenging my mum. So, and even she noticed a big change. Like because my mum comes along as well to my place of worship.
Okay.
And she always says to like the advisor there, like, wow, you do an amazing job here. Like, she has changed, because my attitude just changed. Like, things like cleaning, things like, you know, domestic things would, like, I'd have to roll my eyes, it would take an argument, but I was willing to do these things now, spending time with my family. I'm still working that stuff because I'm not perfect, but like, there were things that I was seeing, oh my gosh, like, I need to change who I am first before I can expect my family to change or for them to treat me differently. And so it took me like realizing that I needed to do things first.
You know, when you're not happy, whether a person's depressed or they don't value themselves, they don't do simple things that anyone else would do, like, I don't know, the washing up or cleaning their room or just having dinner with the family. They want to be elsewhere, right? They want to isolate themselves.
Yeah.
But as you started to get help and started to change, you became a daughter again, if I can say that, right?
Yeah.
Your mum saw a difference in you, right? And that's the power of faith. That's what faith can do, Carlos.
Yes, and definitely this is what faith can do. And something that we have seen, we have learned, which is very much true. We cannot change people, but we can obviously through our attitudes. You know, I cannot change you. I cannot change her. I cannot change my wife or my son. You know, you have to be this way. You have to be that way. But I can influence on them through my attitudes. So once her mom started seeing the changes in her, so now, of course, that things begin to change.
And you know, some people think you're going to a place of worship. I know in my case, a close family member of mine said, I don't want you going to that place. Didn't know about this place, that place I was attending. But like, don't go to that place. It's a cult. They're just brainwashing you. And this person burst into tears. I'm like, you don't even know anything about this place, but I'm getting help there. How was it for you?
So
Obviously, in your case, it was opposite because your mum saw a difference in you.
Yeah.
Right? And she came along. She came along to that.
Yeah,
place,
so she's actually started coming along. It was funny enough because she said, like, 'cause she does believe in God. So she'd always, like, because my parents aren't together, she always hoped that me and my sister wouldn't go down the wrong route. She'd hoped that we would find faith as well because she was a strong believer in her faith. And she's just she says it continuously, that she's so happy that we found a relationship with God, that we found our own personal faith, and she knows that will really, really help us through hard times in our lives.
So, to round it off, what is Milka doing today?
So, Milka is, you know, working towards becoming a Spanish and French teacher.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm just genuinely like happy to be alive. And that is something, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have told you that's impossible. I would have laughed at you
Really?
and said, that's impossible. There's no way. If you got a secret, then tell me. But like there's no way that's gonna happen.
So, you know, cliche saying, but the future's bright, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You can see a future, you know what you want to do now.
Yeah.
For this person at home, male or female, young or old, who might be going through similar things that you went through, what would you tell them? I
would say, like, give faith a chance, and most importantly, like, give the number a call, because this place of worship that I came to, this faith that I have, like, it came from people who genuinely fought and cared for me, and without these people who came out to reach to me, obviously through like the youth group, but I never would be in this place. I'd be in a coffin, and sometimes like all it takes is just like one action and your whole life can change. I didn't expect that walking through 2 doors could really change my life, but it did.
It did. Milka, thank you very much for coming and sharing your story with us. No, she said it, if you would like to kickstart the help that you want in your life, then our number is on the screen. There's a number, you can speak to one of the advisors who will be able to maybe say a similar prayer, something similar to what Milka received in her place of worship. So there's a number on the screen, it's 0207 686 6300. If you want our help, if you want a prayer, pick up the phone right now. We're going to go for a break, and when we come back, at the end, we want you to get your glass of water ready because we'll be praying for you. But also, we're going to answer your questions in our section, Your Questions. We'll see you right after this break. Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now we've come to the section where we answer your questions. And if you would like a question answered in this section of the program, you can send us your questions at help@findinganswers.tv. Let's have a look at one of our viewers' questions for tonight. Randall from London says, how can we define faith? Carlos, I think this is quite an easy one for us, right?
Yes, well, in the biblical point of view, we know that faith is the evidence of things not seen. It's to be sure of things that we hope for. Now, we were even talking about this previously, because how can we explain something that, I mean, an evidence of something that we do not see? The only way is when we have that assurance inside of us. Actually, Michael, we cannot really explain faith. The best way to explain is look at the testimony that we had tonight.
Right.
Right? Look what God has done in the life of this young lady and in the life of so many people that, you know, obviously they accepted the invitation for God to change their lives.
And I can add to that and say, imagine Milka going through all that she went through, but then in the beginning, knowing that she would be where she is today. Having the assurance that, you know what, I'm going to be so happy, this is going to change, that I'm actually going to tell my story on TV. That's what faith is. And we can apply that to, for example, health or any kind of problem that you're going through. It's having the assurance right now that somewhere in the future, everything is going to be fine.
Yes, and then another question. How can the person start, developing, having this assurance? So that's what the Word of God says, that faith comes by hearing, and hearing the Word of God. And of course, that includes to hear, you know, other people's lives, stories, you know, people whose lives were changed. This happened to her because the person who approached her began to tell, you know, about, you know, about this other person's life, of course, how God changed her life. And suddenly, this faith began to awake inside of her.
In other words, it's possible that my life can actually change. It's the hope, but we're saying not just hoping, because hope is like grabbing something and not actually getting the answer. But we're saying it's more than hope. It's the assurance. It's certainty that things will change.
Yes, definitely. But always bear in mind, Michael, that, according to the pattern, the way that people understand things in this world, because as we were mentioning here, it's the evidence of things not seen. Well, we know that evidence is something that you have to see, you have to touch. It's something really...
It's proof that something happens, right?
But in the case of faith, we cannot really explain according to the pattern of this world. There is no way.
Faith is to believe. So there are people that say, Carlos, if God does something here right now, then I'll believe. But God doesn't do anything to prove He's there. He's around us, right? And it's for you to believe. And when you do believe, you will start to see things happen in your life.
Have you ever seen God, Michael?
I have never seen God.
But we believe.
Physically, I have never seen God.
Yes, of course. Yes, not physically, but of course that we have seen Him in our life through, the testimony of our life, how God's changed our life, who we were in the past and who we are today.
People can tell us it was a doctor, or it was in your mind, as many people say, or it was someone else, but we know the change that took place in us, in our families, in Milka's life, our guest this evening, was only through faith in God. And we'll tell you what faith is not. Faith is not about doing lots of religious rituals, thinking that you have faith, because if you see no evidence of those actions and rituals, those repetitive actions that don't bring any form or any type of result in your life, then that person's faith is as good as dead.
And why not, Michael, to invite our viewers to join us in a prayer to see the power of faith? Because, through prayer, we believe, even though we do not see God, but we believe that He's there hearing our voice, our prayer, and join us because we believe that He can change your life.
If you want to join us for the prayer now, please, as we always do, get a glass of water. And by you getting a glass of water ready, you actually showing to God that you believe that something can happen through this prayer. If you want to see something happen, then we're encouraging you to get your glass of water ready, because now we're going to pray for you.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my God, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I join my faith with all the viewers at home now, especially those, my Lord, who have been pretending. They have been trying to live a life or trying to put on an appearance, trying to fit in. And my God, they have been failing because trying to fit in, trying to look for approval, it's hard work. And how long can this person act like this? How long will they continue looking to be accepted by others, my God, when they haven't accepted who they are? My God, through faith, Milka believed that her life could change. All it was hearing another person's story. It kick-started her faith. And today she's here sharing with all of us how faith helped her. My God, I pray for this person watching us now, This person has been finding it a struggle. They've listened to words, negative words from parents. They've been abused at school, college. Other friends that they made friends with. My God, they seem not to fit in. They've been rejected. It's like no one wants them. And so they feel this loneliness. They feel empty inside. They are a lost case, my God. And they think that that's how their life will end up, lost. They can't see a future for them. My God, I pray, Father, that by faith, and I know, I have the assurance, you are not only in the studio, not only are you hearing our prayer, but you are with those now who are joining us in this faith. Touch this person now, my God, and remove all the hurt. Remove, my God, this worry. Remove, my God, this pressure on this person to fit in. My God, you are the one that gives inner peace. And I pray, my God, that this hurt, I pray, my God, that this feeling inside, my God, you will cleanse them now. You remove this emptiness. And may this emptiness make way for your peace, your presence, my God, to fill them. My Father, I present this glass of water to you, and I ask you, bless each and every one who holds their glass of water in their hands. Even if they don't have a glass of water, but Lord, they just want a sign. Then show them, my God, that you exist. Show them that you are real, that you don't want them to live this lie, but for them to accept who they are and to move on, my God, as Milka did. I determine now your glass of water blessed. And as you drink it, allow God now, through this water, to wash away all the hurt, all the pain, everything that is making you act the way that you have been. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now and receive peace. So, no more living a lie, all right? Now it's time to accept yourself. It's time to move forward, okay? And as I said, we keep saying, keep on joining us, watching, finding answers, because as you do, you are actually increasing your faith. One story after the other will help you decide eventually what you want to do for your life, all right? But I believe that this prayer has helped you out there. So until the next time, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the next Finding Answers. God bless you.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.